Welcome to Sleepy Science. Tonight, I want to take you somewhere very special, a place where the sky glows in colors that don't seem real, a place people travel thousands of miles just to see once. The northern lights, they look soft. But the truth behind them is one of the greatest mysteries in nature. Light that moves like it's alive. Colors that appear without sound. Patterns that change even when nothing on earth is moving. Why, they look like they're dancing just for you. And tonight, you'll learn relaxing facts about this strange sky that will calm your mind and help you drift into sleep. So settle in, breathe slow. And if you like peaceful nights like this, don't forget to subscribe before you drift off. The sky changes in a way that almost feels impossible. It begins as a normal dark night, quiet, still, nothing moving, nothing glowing, just a calm sky above you. And then, without warning, a pale green line starts to form far in the distance. It looks thin at first, almost like someone is slowly drawing on the darkness with soft light. You stare at it because you are not sure if your eyes are playing a trick on you, but the line grows brighter. It grows wider. And you feel that small pull inside your chest, that quiet moment of surprise that makes you want to keep watching. The green light begins to lift itself higher, almost like it is waking up. It moves with a slow wave. Not fast, not wild, just a gentle rise, as if the sky is breathing. And then the color spreads. It stretches across the black space above you, forming a long, glowing band. You keep looking because you can feel something special is happening. Your mind becomes calm, but your eyes stay wide. It feels rare. It feels like you are seeing something that should not be real, yet it is right in front of you. As the light grows, thin threads of color begin to fall down from the main band. They look like long ribbons. They move like soft water in the air. You can't touch them, but they look close enough to feel. The green becomes brighter. Then you notice another color starting to rise behind it. A soft pink. It appears slowly, as if it is shy. It mixes with the green in a very gentle way. No sharp lines, no rapid change. Just a soft blend like paint on wet paper. You watch these colors form shapes that never stay the same. One moment they look like a curtain. Then they turn into waves, then into a wide arc that stretches across the whole sky. The movements are calm and smooth, and it makes your body relax without you even trying. Your breathing becomes slower. Your thoughts become lighter. You feel like the sky is showing you something made only for people who are quiet enough to notice. Then the lights start to move in a new way. They twist slightly. They curl inwards. They rise and fall like a slow song, and you can almost feel the space above you shift with them. The whole sky becomes a stage where the lights perform without sound. And that silence makes everything stronger. No noise, no wind, just you and the colors moving in soft patterns. You feel a kind of awe that is hard to explain. It is not loud excitement. It is something much calmer. Your mind opens a little wider. You let the colors fill your thoughts. You feel small, but in a good way, like you are standing inside something ancient and kind. People who see the northern lights for the first time often describe this same feeling. It is a mix of wonder and peace, a strange comfort that settles deep inside. More colors begin to join. You might see hints of violet at the edges, maybe a soft white glow at the center. These colors do not rush in. They appear like whispers. Each one adds a new layer to the sky. Each one makes the scene more magical. And you find yourself staring without looking away, almost afraid that blinking will make the lights vanish. The lights begin to stretch wider across the horizon. They climb higher. They shape themselves into tall pillars. These pillars sway gently. They rise like long beams shining straight into the stars. Some beams fade slowly. Some return in new places. The whole sky becomes alive in a way that feels calm, not overwhelming. Everything moves at a pace that relaxes your mind. You notice how the air around you feels different. It feels colder, but cleaner. You can hear your own breathing in the silence, and it becomes part of the experience. People often stand quietly when they see the lights, not because they are told to, but because the sky makes them quiet on its own. You feel that same stillness settling around you. It is a natural pause, a moment when nothing else matters. As the lights shift again, they form a long river of green that flows across the sky. It moves softly from left to right. You follow it with your eyes, letting the motion guide your thoughts in a slow rhythm. Your mind becomes steady. Even your heartbeat feels smoother. The lights create their own kind of calm, one that reaches you without a single sound. Then the colors begin to fold over themselves. They curl like a soft blanket. They wrap around the stars without hiding them. You can see small sparkles in the sky behind the colors, like tiny lights shining through a glowing curtain. It makes the whole view feel even more magical. Like the sky is letting you see something delicate and rare. As you keep watching, the lights start moving in deeper layers. The front layer shifts. Then the layer behind it moves differently. Then another behind that. It feels like looking into a living painting. All these soft motions work together like a slow dance created by nature. And each movement feels like it is calling you to relax more. You feel warmth in your thoughts, even though the air is cold. You feel comfort, even though the sky is wide and endless. The northern lights create a strange balance between being big and peaceful at the same time. And that balance pulls you in deeper. You sense that you could stand there forever and never get tired of watching. The colors soften again. They fade a little, then return brighter. This gentle change keeps your attention without forcing it. It holds your mind in a quiet space where stress has no place to stay. Everything becomes slower around you. Even time feels like it is moving differently. Each moment stretches comfortably, giving you enough space to breathe easily. As the lights move across the sky, you sense a soft kind of curiosity building inside. You want to know how the lights work. You want to know why they move the way they do. But at the same time, your mind does not rush for answers. The calm movement makes you feel like it is okay to simply watch, to just let the colors speak for themselves. This first sight of the northern lights becomes something that stays in your memory because of how they make you feel. They do not only show you light, they show you peace. They show you wonder without noise. They show you calm without effort. And as you stand there under this glowing sky, you understand why people travel from far places to see them. Because even the first moment changes something inside you in a very gentle way. When you watch the northern lights, the first thing you notice is the color. Most people see green before anything else. It appears like a soft glow that spreads gently across the sky. But the reason it shines in green is not magic, even though it feels like it. It happens because tiny particles from the sun reach the earth and meet the air high above us. When those particles touch oxygen in the upper sky, the oxygen gives off a green light. It is simple science, but the result feels like something out of a dream. The green color appears most often because oxygen is very common in the air. It waits high above, and when the solar particles arrive, the oxygen lights up. The height where this happens is important too. The green glow usually forms around 100 kilometers above the ground. That is very high, but still close enough for your eyes to see clearly. The sky becomes a wide screen, where these tiny reactions create a calm, glowing band of color. Sometimes you see pink mixed with the green. This pink is softer. It hides at the lower edges of the lights. It appears because the solar particles reach nitrogen in the air. Nitrogen glows differently from oxygen. It gives off deep reds and warm pink tones. These colors are lower in the sky because nitrogen reacts at a different height. When the green and pink meet, they blend into a beautiful edge that makes the sky look even more magical. Then, there are moments when purple rises behind the green. Purple is not as common, which makes it feel special when it appears. This color comes from a mix of nitrogen and very active particles from the sun. It forms above the green layer, giving the sky a stacked look. You see the green below, then the soft purple spreading above like a quiet whisper. The height difference is what creates the layers. There are also deeper reds that appear when solar particles reach oxygen much higher up, around 200 kilometers above the Earth. These red auroras are rare because they need strong activity from the sun. When they happen, they are slow and smooth, almost like a warm glow that spreads without sharp lines. People sometimes miss them because they blend into the night. But when you notice them, they look like soft flames held in the sky. Each color tells you something about what is happening far above your head. It tells you what kind of air is reacting. It tells you how fast the solar particles are moving. It tells you how high the light is being made. But the amazing part is that your eyes don't think about the science. They only feel the calm of the colors. They only sense the gentle way the sky changes. And that feeling is what makes the experience so relaxing. When the lights start mixing colors, the sky turns into a slow painting. Green stretches across the center. Pink touches the edges. Purple rises at the top. The layers shift like soft waves. Some colors fade. Some return. Nothing repeats the exact same shape twice. It is always changing, and that change keeps your mind softly focused. You follow the motion without effort. You let the colors guide your thoughts into a quieter place. The movement of color depends on how strong the particles from the sun are. Sometimes they come softly, sometimes they come with more strength. When they move gently, the lights stay smooth and peaceful. When they come faster, the lights move a little quicker. But even then the colors stay calming because the sky spreads them out in a wide, slow pattern. It is never harsh. It is never loud. It is light moving in the most gentle way. When you learn how the colors work, the lights become even more interesting. You understand why green is the most common. You understand why pink and purple appear in certain places. You understand why some nights show only one color, while others show many. This knowledge makes the experience deeper, but it does not take away the magic. It makes you feel closer to the sky, as if you know its secrets in a quiet way. While you watch, you may notice that the colors sometimes rise from the bottom and sometimes fall from the top. This happens because the solar particles are entering the atmosphere at different heights. When they enter lower, you see pink and red. When they enter higher, you see green and purple. The sky shifts between these layers like a soft curtain being lifted and lowered. It makes the lights feel alive, even though everything is happening silently. You might also notice how the colors look brighter in some parts and softer in others. This happens because the particles from the sun are not spread evenly. Some areas have more reactions happening at once. These areas shine brighter. Others have fewer reactions, so the color becomes faint. But even the faint areas add beauty to the whole view. They create contrast. They give the lights a sense of depth. They make the sky feel bigger than you can imagine. One of the most peaceful things about the northern lights is how the colors form patterns that seem to move with your thoughts. You look at a green band and it shifts softly. You move your eyes to a purple line above it, and it changes too. It feels almost as if the sky is responding to your gaze. This quiet connection makes your mind settle into a slower rhythm. You breathe easier. You think clearer. You feel lighter. Sometimes the light spreads so far that you can no longer tell where one color ends and another begins. They blend smoothly, creating shades your eyes have never seen. These blends happen because the particles from the sun reach different gases at almost the same moment. The reactions overlap. The colors overlap. The sky becomes a slow mix of glowing tones that wash across the darkness. It feels endless and calm at the same time. The science behind the lights is simple when explained gently, but the results look anything but simple. They look like nature painting in the sky. They look like soft ribbons flowing without wind. They look like something made to bring peace to anyone who watches. And when you know how each color is formed, the beauty becomes even softer. You understand that something so peaceful can come from something as active as the sun. The next time you look up and see the green glow rise across the sky, you will know it is oxygen lighting up high above you. When you see pink at the edges, you will know nitrogen is glowing lower in the atmosphere. When you see purple above the green, you will know another layer is reacting quietly. Each color becomes a story written in the sky, slow and calming. As you watch the colors shift and soften, you feel a gentle curiosity inside. You want to know what the next color will be. You want to see how the lights will move next. And this curiosity keeps your mind present but never tense. It is the kind of interest that relaxes you instead of waking you up. It makes you feel connected to the sky in a peaceful way. The first thing you notice about the northern lights is not just the color. It is the way they move. They do not stand still like stars. They do not rise and set like the moon. They move in a way that feels soft and almost alive. When you look up, it feels like the sky is gently dancing above you, and you cannot help but follow every motion with your eyes. There is something soothing about it, something that makes your mind quiet down without effort. The lights begin with small waves. They shift from side to side like slow breaths in the sky. These waves happen because the solar particles are flowing along the Earth's magnetic field. The field is shaped like curved lines, and the lights simply follow those lines. That is why they move in soft bends instead of straight paths. They sway because the invisible lines around Earth guide them in a gentle arc. It feels natural, peaceful, and almost like the sky is rocking itself to sleep. Sometimes the waves become stronger and start forming long ribbons. These ribbons stretch across the night from one side to the other. They look like a soft cloth laid across the stars. The ribbon bends and turns because the magnetic field is never still. It changes slightly as the solar particles reach it. This makes the lights twist in slow motions. They curl in one direction, then slowly in another. And each twist feels smooth, like watching a long scarf float in water. When you lie down and look straight up at the sky, the movement becomes even more magical. The lights appear as tall curtains above you. The curtains shimmer from top to bottom. They shift in gentle lines, and the edges flicker softly like they are brushing against the stars. Sometimes the curtains fold inward, then open again. The motion is slow enough to relax your mind, but detailed enough to keep your attention. The reason the lights shimmer is because the solar particles do not arrive all at once. They come in thin streams. When a strong stream arrives, the lights brighten. When a weaker stream follows, the lights fade a little. This creates a soft flicker that looks like the sky is blinking slowly. The blinking is never sharp. It is always smooth and calming, like candlelight moving quietly in a room with no wind. There are moments when the lights rush upward quickly, almost like they're climbing the sky. This happens when a strong burst of particles enters the atmosphere. But even this movement feels peaceful. It rises fast, but softens at the top. It gives you a sense of something powerful, wrapped in something gentle. You can feel the strength behind the lights, but you only see the calm results. Other times, the lights fall downward like slow rain. Long streaks of green or purple come down from the top of the sky. They fall in thin lines, but they never reach the ground. They fade before they fall too far. Watching them makes you feel like the sky is letting go of lines of color that simply melt into the night. The falling motion brings a deep sense of calm, almost like watching soft water glide down a window. When the lights spread wide, the entire sky becomes part of their movement. They stretch to the left, then to the right, forming huge arcs that move like giant waves. You feel as if the whole world above you is slowly shifting. This makes you want to stay still and just let the sky move for you. You don't need to do anything. The calm motion does everything. It holds your mind steady. It slows your thoughts. It gives your breathing a natural rhythm. One of the most peaceful motions is when the lights ripple. The ripples look like small waves moving along the length of the ribbon. They travel from one end to the other. They are soft, steady, and repeat in a rhythm that feels almost like a slow heartbeat. You find yourself following the ripple with your eyes all the way across the sky. This gentle repetition makes your thoughts smoother. It gives you something easy and soothing to focus on. These spirals appear when the magnetic field bends sharply. They do not spin fast. They turn slowly, like the sky is calmly turning a long thread of color. Watching the twist makes you feel like time has slowed down. It is a quiet kind of beauty that does not ask for anything. It only asks you to watch, to breathe, and to feel the moment. There are times when the movement becomes very thin and delicate. You see narrow strands of light stretching across the sky like glowing strings. These strings quiver gently. They move with tiny motions, almost like the slight shaking of a leaf in the softest breeze. The small movements make the sky feel alive in a very delicate way. It gives you the sense that the lights are aware of the space around them, adjusting softly as they shine. Then there are nights when the entire sky lights up at once. The ribbons spread wide. The waves grow larger. The colors shift in broad motions. Everything becomes big but still slow and peaceful. You feel like you are under a giant glowing roof that moves with the calmness of deep water. The size of the movement gives you a sense of wonder, but the softness keeps you relaxed. As you keep watching, you start to feel connected to the rhythm of the lights. You notice how they slow down. You notice how they pick up slightly. You notice how they stretch farther. Your mind begins to match their pace. This natural pacing helps you let go of anything heavy in your thoughts. The sky becomes a kind of guide, leading your mind into a calmer place without forcing anything. The beauty of the northern lights is that no movement repeats. Every wave is different. Every ribbon curves in its own way. Every shimmer has its own softness. This keeps your curiosity alive while still keeping your mind calm. You do not get bored, but you do not feel rushed either. The lights hold your attention gently, the same way a calm voice holds your focus when everything else is quiet. You feel the motion more deeply when you imagine yourself lying under the lights. You feel as if the entire sky is floating above you with slow, peaceful energy. You feel light. You feel safe. You feel present in the moment. The soft movement of the lights makes you forget everything else for a while. You only think about the sky, the colors, and the calm patterns above you. When the lights begin to fade, their movement slows even more. The waves stretch longer. The ribbons soften. The shimmering weakens into a gentle glow. The sky settles back into darkness in a smooth, peaceful way. The slow fading feels almost like the end of a quiet song. You are left with the feeling of softness, calm, and quiet wonder. When you watch the northern lights, it is easy to think the magic begins in the sky above you. But the true beginning is far away, on the surface of the sun. The story of the light starts with the sun sending out tiny particles into space. These particles are so small that you could never see them, yet they travel across millions of kilometers. They move quietly, and they carry a soft kind of energy that becomes the beauty you see in the night sky. It is peaceful to think that something so far away can create something so gentle here on Earth. The sun is always active, even though we only feel its warmth. It releases a constant stream of tiny particles. This stream is called the solar wind. The name makes it sound strong, but in space it spreads out and becomes smooth and calm. The particles move like a wide, soft river flowing through the darkness. They do not make sound. They do not glow. They simply travel, carried by the force of the sun. They move in all directions, reaching far beyond the planets. These particles are mostly electrons and protons, which are the building blocks of many things in the universe. They leave the sun at high speed, but as they travel, they spread out. By the time they reach the Earth, they are not harsh or heavy. They reach us gently, like soft dust floating through space. You cannot feel them, you cannot touch them, but they are there, moving quietly toward our planet. When the solar wind reaches Earth, something interesting happens. Earth has a magnetic field around it. This field is invisible, but it protects us from the harsh forces of space. It guides the solar particles toward the north and south poles. This is why the northern lights happen near the Arctic, and the southern lights happen near Antarctica. The magnetic field acts like a soft path, gently pulling the particles into the areas where the sky can light up. The particles follow the curved lines of the magnetic field, and the moment they enter the upper sky, they meet the gases in our atmosphere. This meeting is the key to the lights. When a solar particle touches oxygen or nitrogen in the air, the gas begins to glow. It is similar to how a tiny spark makes a bulb shine, but in the sky it happens on a much larger scale. The glow is soft and colorful, and it spreads slowly across the night. The journey of the solar particles is long, yet it creates a sight that feels peaceful and calm. It is amazing to think that the movement of the sun, something so far away, ends with colors that seem to float above your head. The sun's energy is powerful enough to heat our planet, but the lights it creates feel gentle. This balance is part of what makes the northern lights so calming to watch. Sometimes the sun releases a stronger burst of particles. They sound alarming, but most of the time we do not feel anything on the ground. What we do see is brighter and more active lights. The stronger the burst, the more particles reach the atmosphere. The more particles there are, the brighter and wider the lights become. They can spread across the entire sky like a glowing wave. But even during strong solar activity, the lights remain soft to the eye. They do not flash sharply. They do not move in a way that feels harsh. The sky spreads the light out so gently that it feels like the world above you is glowing with a quiet breath. This is part of why the northern lights help your mind settle. They come from something powerful, but what you see is peaceful and calming. There are days when the solar wind is light and steady. On these days the lights appear softer. They might start as a faint glow on the horizon. They rise slowly until they form a smooth arc. The colors stay gentle and the movement stays slow. This kind of night feels quiet and steady. It feels like the sky is taking its time, letting you relax without rushing anything. Another interesting part of this process is how far the particles travel before they reach Earth. They cross space for days. They move through darkness and silence. They pass planets and empty space until they reach our atmosphere. When you think about this, it makes the lights feel even more special. The glow you see began as tiny pieces of the sun that traveled an incredible distance, only to create a calm show in the night sky. You might wonder how the particles can travel so far without losing their energy. The answer is that space is mostly empty. There is nothing to slow them down. They float freely, carried by the force of the sun. The only thing that changes their path is Earth's magnetic field, which bends their direction gently downward toward the poles. This smooth guidance is what creates the flowing shapes in the sky. The solar wind never stops. It is always reaching Earth, even when you cannot see the lights. The reason you see them only sometimes is because the particles must meet the right conditions. The sky must be dark enough, the air must be clear enough, and the solar wind must be strong enough. When all these things line up, the lights appear like a quiet gift. They remind you that the universe is always moving, always working in ways we may not notice. Another thing that makes the lights calming is that they are silent. Even though they come from strong forces in space, there is no sound. You look up and you see movement and color, but you hear nothing. This silence allows your mind to slow down. You are not pulled by noise. You are not distracted by anything loud or sudden. You are simply watching the sky glow in its own peaceful way. Some people think the lights move gently because the particles are flowing gently. But the truth is that the calm movement comes from how Earth's magnetic field shapes the particles. The field bends them into soft lines. It guides them smoothly, never sharply. It spreads the glow across the sky in a way that feels like a soft painting being brushed slowly into place. This guiding force is part of what makes the lights feel so relaxing. When you understand the sun's role, the lights become even more amazing. You see that something powerful can create something peaceful. You see that energy from the sun, something we depend on every day, can also paint colors in the sky. This connection makes the lights feel bigger than a simple glow. It makes them feel like part of a much larger story that ties together space, earth, and everything in between. And as you watch the lights move gently across the sky, you feel connected to that story in a quiet way. You feel small, but in a comforting way. You feel like the world is bigger than your worries. You feel the calm of the sky and the soft touch of the sun meeting above you. It is a reminder that even powerful things can bring peace when they move gently. When you look at the lights, it is easy to think they move on their own, but there is something guiding them, something gentle, something steady, something that has been here far longer than us. It is the earth itself. And once you understand how it works, the whole sky starts to make a deeper kind of sense. This is where the story becomes even more peaceful, because now the sky is not just glowing. It is responding. It is listening. And the idea that our planet shapes these lights adds a calm feeling that makes the night softer. It pulls you in slowly, and you want to keep watching because the truth is quiet but very beautiful. The Earth has a magnetic field that spreads around the planet like an invisible shield. You cannot see it, but it is always there. It comes from deep inside the earth, where hot liquid metal moves and spins. This movement creates a kind of force that surrounds the planet. Think of it like a soft bubble that protects us from the harsh things in space. The sun sends tiny particles toward Earth, but this magnetic field guides them so they do not hit us directly. Instead, it leads them to the far north and far south. That is why the lights appear in those places more than anywhere else. It is not random. It is not luck. It is our planet doing something gentle without making a sound. When the particles from the sun reach Earth, the magnetic field takes over and directs them along its lines. These lines curve toward the poles like a quiet path. That is where the colors begin. And when you think about it this way, it almost feels like the sky is following a set of soft instructions from the earth. Nothing rushes, nothing fights, everything moves in a calm, natural way. This slow guidance is what makes the lights feel so peaceful when you watch them. You might not know all the science while standing under the sky, but you can feel the calm in your body. Sometimes people wonder why the lights do not appear over every part of the world. The answer is simple. The magnetic field is strongest near the poles, and that strength is what pulls the particles in. The middle of the Earth, near the equator, does not have the same effect, so the lights stay in their own quiet zones, places where the sky listens more closely to the planet, places where the Earth is gently whispering to the atmosphere. When you think of it this way, the north becomes more than just a direction. It becomes a place where the sky and earth meet in a very soft, special way. If you were to look at a map of the magnetic field, you would see lines curving from one pole to the other. These lines act like guides. They form large arcs that bend around the earth. It is almost like sliding down a quiet road in the sky. There are no sharp turns, no sudden drops, just a steady path that brings everything together. When the particles finally reach the upper air near the poles, the colors show up. They glow, they move. They form the lights that so many people dream of seeing once in their life. Because the magnetic field is always active, the lights can appear on any night when the particles reach Earth. It just guides. It just shapes. And in that softness the lights become even more beautiful. The idea that our own planet plays a gentle part in this glowing show adds a kind of comfort. You might even feel a little safer just knowing that something so quiet is protecting you every day. The poles are important because that is where the magnetic field lines come closest together. When the particles gather there, they enter the sky in larger amounts. This makes the lights stronger and brighter. In some nights, the sky can turn into a wide green curtain. On other nights, it becomes a soft purple arc. The colors stretch across the air like long shapes that seem to breathe. And all of this happens because the Earth's magnetic field is gently pulling the particles into place. It is like the planet is painting with the help of the sun, but doing it in silence so no one gets disturbed. Every culture in the north has a story about why the lights appear. Some say the lights are spirits. Some say they are messengers. Some say they are signs of good things coming. But behind all these stories is something simple and real. The Earth is guiding the sky. The lights are the result of that relationship. Science explains it clearly, but it does not take away the magic. If anything, it makes the magic stronger. The air is cold, but your mind feels warm. The light seems to follow a pattern that you cannot see but can somehow feel. That pattern is the magnetic field. You are watching something that has been happening for millions of years, something that will continue long after us. The calm movement of the lights, the slow guidance of the Earth, the quiet arrival of particles from far away, it is all part of one gentle story. And when the lights fade, you might feel like the sky has finished speaking for the night. But the magnetic field remains. It is still there. Still shaping, still guiding, still ready for the next wave of particles, and when they come, the colors will rise again, and the sky will glow again, and the night will soften again, and you will remember that the Earth listens too. Long before anyone understood science, people looked at the lights with open wonder. They stood in cold fields and quiet forests and empty lakesides. They looked up at the sky and felt something deep move inside them. The lights were not just colors to them. They were signs. They were messages. They were living things. Imagine standing there with no noise around you, no engines, no screens, no cities, only the night, your breath in the cold air, and the sky slowly glowing above you. Anyone would feel small, but in the softest way. Anyone would feel that something huge was happening, something that touched the heart before it touched the mind. Early people did not have names for solar winds or magnetic fields. They only had their eyes and their feelings. And sometimes feelings can explain the world in their own simple way. Some groups in the far north believed the lights were the souls of ancestors. When the sky turned green or pink, they felt the spirits were close. They believed the lights were guiding them or watching over them. That thought brought comfort in the long winter nights when darkness lasted for hours and loneliness could grow fast. The lights made the night feel less empty. They made people feel less alone. Other groups believed the lights were a kind of fire in the sky, a fire that moved without burning, a fire that made no sound. They pictured great beings lighting the sky for travelers. Some thought it was the glow from a giant fox running across the snow, brushing its tail against the sky, leaving sparks behind. This idea was warm and soft because it gave the lights a playful nature, a gentle animal creating beauty without meaning to. The story spread through generations, carried by parents telling it to their children as they watched the lights together. Many old stories share something in common. They describe the lights as something friendly, something safe, something calm. The lights seemed to bring comfort even in harsh places where life was hard. They gave people hope that there was more to the world than cold winds and long nights. When the lights moved like ribbons, people imagined them as paths to the heavens. When the lights shimmered, they imagined voices or songs. Even though they did not understand the science, they understood the feeling of beauty. If you think about it, the lights might have been one of the earliest mysteries humans tried to explain. When a child sees something they cannot explain, they make a story. Adults in old times did the same. Stories were their way of making sense of the unknown, and the lights gave them a lot to think about. In the quiet north, the sky can feel huge. The stars look sharper. The air feels older. And then, when the lights appear, the whole night changes. People had to believe it meant something. They had to believe the sky was speaking in colors. In some places, people believed the lights were a bridge between worlds, a soft road that connected the living and the afterlife. This thought made the lights feel sacred. People would stand silently under them as if they were in a temple made of stars and moving color. No walls, no roof, just the open sky and the feeling of being part of something bigger. The lights did not belong to any one group. They were shared by anyone who lifted their eyes. And this sharing created a connection among people who lived far apart from each other. Sometimes the lights were seen as warnings. Not frightening warnings, but gentle signs that something important was happening. The lights might glow brighter one night, and people would gather to talk about what it meant. They sat around fires and whispered ideas. They shared old tales passed down from elders. Each person added their own piece to the long story, and the lights kept moving above them, slow and soft, as if listening. The night felt alive. And in that aliveness, people found peace. There were also nights when the lights were faint, just small patches of color. Even then, people felt something special. They waited quietly, hoping the lights would grow brighter. And when they did, even a little, the joy was simple and real. Imagine a family standing at the door of a small wooden home. They look at the sky. The lights begin to stretch. The children point. The elders smile. No one rushes. No one speaks loudly. It is a shared moment that becomes a memory, and these memories lasted for generations. Old travelers wrote about the lights too. Some were amazed, some were confused, some were scared at first, but then felt calm as they watched longer. They tried to write what they saw, but words never seemed enough. The colors changed too softly. The shapes moved too quietly. The sky felt too big to fit into a page. But they tried anyway, because the lights felt important. They felt like a gift that needed to be shared. Today, we know the science behind the lights. But even with all this knowledge, the old stories still hold a soft charm. They remind us that people long ago felt the same wonder we feel now. They remind us that the world has always been surprising. The sky you look at is the same sky they looked at. The colors you see was seen by ancient hunters, fishermen, travelers, and families sitting by small fires. That connection across time makes the lights feel even more magical. When you stand under the northern lights, you are not just watching a natural event. You are sharing a moment with people from thousands of years ago. You are feeling what they felt. You are seeing what they saw. And in that quiet link, the past does not feel far away. It feels close. It feels warm. It feels alive. The lights tie us to history in a soft, gentle way that does not need words. Just eyes, just breath, just the night sky glowing slowly above you. Many places in the north shape their own stories about the lights. Each story grew from long winters, quiet nights, and people watching the sky together. These tales were not meant to frighten. They were meant to comfort. They were meant to explain something gentle and beautiful using simple imagination. When you listen to them, you can almost feel the cold air, the soft snow, and the warmth of a small fire where families once sat together. These stories make the lights feel alive in a calm way, and they guide your mind into a peaceful place where everything moves slowly and softly. In Norway, one of the most loved stories says the lights are reflections of huge schools of fish swimming deep under the sea, their movements sending soft pulses upward, and the sky above glowing because of them. The thought makes the world feel connected in a gentle circle, where the sea and the sky talk to each other without words. People liked this story because it made the lights feel calm and natural. No danger. No fear. Just the earth showing its beauty through another place. Another Norwegian tale says the lights appear when strong warriors ride across the sky, but even this story is told softly. The warriors are not angry. They are not fierce. They are protectors, watching over the people below. Their armor shines in green and purple, spreading peace instead of fear. When children asked adults what the lights meant, adults would smile and say the protectors were passing by, making sure the night stayed safe. This brought comfort during long, dark months. The idea that someone powerful but kind was moving above them helped people feel less alone. In Finland, the stories take a magical turn. One of the most famous tales says a great fox runs across snowy hills at night. When it swishes its tail, it sends sparks into the sky. Those sparks become the lights. The picture is simple and warm, a fox racing freely across the frozen land, snow flying behind it, the tip of its tail glowing, and with each movement the sky becomes brighter. Parents would tell this to their children during winter evenings, and children would imagine the fox happily creating beauty without even trying. This story still lives in Finland today. It gives the lights a friendly personality, something playful and gentle. Another Finnish story says the lights are the breath of giant creatures sleeping under the ice. Their breath rises slowly, glowing as it touches the cold air. This idea gives the lights a soft, dreamy feeling. The creatures are not dangerous. They are peaceful. They are resting. Their breath warms the sky just enough to make the colors appear. People liked this story because it made the northern world feel more alive. It made the land feel like it had a quiet heart that beat far beneath the frozen top. In Alaska, many groups created stories filled with meaning. One belief says the lights are the souls of animals, especially whales, seals, and deer. Their spirits move through the sky, dancing in soft patterns. When people saw the lights wave, they felt a sense of respect for nature. They believed the animals were showing their presence, telling humans they were still near. This made hunting more meaningful, and it made people feel thankful for the world around them. The story gave the lights a gentle form of guidance, reminding everyone to live with care. Another Alaskan tale says the lights are the spirits of ancestors playing a quiet game with a light ball in the sky. The movement of the lights is the movement of this game. When the colors speed up, people imagine the game growing more exciting. When the colors calm down, they imagine the spirits resting. This story was often told at night when families sat together. It helped people feel connected to those who were no longer alive. The lights became a symbol of love that continues beyond time. It was peaceful, not sad. It gave comfort to lonely nights. Some stories from Greenland say the lights are lanterns carried by souls walking across the sky. Each lantern glows softly, lighting a path. The lights move slowly because the souls are taking their time. They do not rush. They take steady steps, guiding others who might be lost. This story made the lights feel gentle and kind. It suggested that even in the darkest night, someone was holding a light for you. The thought brings a kind of safety that you can feel deep inside. In Iceland, old stories say the lights protect mothers and babies. People believed that watching the lights could bring peace to a mother during childbirth. The lights were seen as a blessing from the sky, a sign that everything would be all right. Women would pray under the lights, and families would stand outside looking upward, asking for calm and protection. Even today, people in Iceland feel a soft connection between the lights and comfort during difficult times. It is a reminder that the sky can hold gentle meaning. What is interesting about all these stories is how soft they are. None of them describe the lights as something harmful. Instead, they describe them as protective, magical, playful, or peaceful. This shows how people in the North shaped their world with kindness. They lived in harsh environments with freezing air and long dark seasons, yet they created warm stories. They used imagination to make the world around them feel friendly. And through these stories, the lights became more than just a natural event. They became a companion to the night. When you watch the lights today, you might remember some of these old tales. They add a different layer to the experience. You are not just looking at glowing colors. You are looking at something people have explained in hundreds of different ways across hundreds of years. You are standing under the same sky where generations before you stood. Their stories touch your mind. Their emotions touch your heart. And suddenly the night feels deeper, as if the air itself holds memories. You can imagine someone from long ago standing in the same spot where you might stand now. They look up. The lights begin to move. Their eyes widen. Their breath slows. A story forms in their mind. Maybe they see a fox. Maybe they see ancestors. Maybe they see protectors in the sky. Whatever story they create becomes part of their world. And that story gets passed on slowly, gently through time. They make them feel like a soft whisper from the past. And when you let those stories settle in your mind, the sky becomes even more calming. The colors feel warmer, the movement feels softer, and the night becomes a place where magic feels real in the quietest, most peaceful way. Imagine yourself standing in the Arctic at night. The air is cold in a way that feels almost unreal. It touches your skin like tiny needles at first, but after a moment it becomes calm and steady. The cold is not harsh. It is clean. It feels like the world has been washed of every sound and every sharp thought. You can hear your breath slow and soft. You can see it in the air as a pale cloud that fades quickly. Everything around you feels still, as if the whole world is quietly waiting for something to begin. The snow under your feet is not loud. It makes a soft crunch when you move, but the sound disappears almost instantly. The snow seems to hold every noise inside itself, leaving the night almost silent. The ground looks untouched, smooth like a white blanket that stretches far in every direction. When you look around, you see shapes of hills and distant trees, but they all seem softened by the darkness and the snow. Nothing feels sharp, nothing feels rushed. It is a night that invites you to slow down without even trying. Above you, the sky feels big. It stretches across the world with no light from cities to hide the stars. The stars look brighter here, almost like tiny crystals pressed into velvet. You can count them if you want, but there are so many that counting becomes useless. The sky reminds you how large the world is, and how small you are in the most peaceful way. It is not scary. It is comforting. It feels like the sky is wrapping itself around you with quiet arms. It looks like a faint mist at first, something your eyes almost miss. You stare, waiting, wondering if the light will grow. The cold air makes your breathing slow, and your body stays still without effort. You wait because the Arctic night teaches you patience. And then the glow becomes clearer, spreading across the sky in a thin, pale line. This is the first sign of the northern lights. They never arrive in a hurry. They move with the pace of the night itself, soft and unforced. The line of light begins to stretch, and you can see how it forms a curve, then a wave, then another wave behind it. The movement is so gentle that it almost feels like the sky is breathing. You watch closely because the moment feels fragile. You feel like blinking might make you miss something important. As the lights grow brighter, the snow around you reflects their colors. The ground takes on a faint green glow. The shadows become longer but softer. You feel like you are standing inside a painting that keeps changing while you watch. The lights move quietly above you. They do not make a sound, but somehow the silence makes their presence stronger. The sky seems alive, yet it stays perfectly still. It feels like a kind of magic that does not need noise to show its power. In the Arctic, silence has a weight. It presses gently on your ears until you notice every tiny sound. Your boots shifting, the snow settling, your breath leaving your mouth. And in that deep quiet, the lights seem to speak in color instead of sound. They sway in long ribbons that stretch across the sky. They fold into soft arcs. Sometimes they brighten so quickly that your eyes widen in surprise. Sometimes they fade until only a faint glow remains, and then slowly rise again as if they are gathering strength. The cold air adds to the moment. It sharpens your senses, but not in a painful way. It keeps you awake, fully aware, fully present. The cold becomes part of the experience, like a reminder that you are truly here, standing in a place where nature can show its most beautiful secrets. The breeze touches your face lightly, and every tiny movement of air feels important, as if the night is telling you to stay awake just long enough to watch each small change in the sky. You look around and see that the snow is not just white. In the glow of the lights, it takes on hints of green, blue, and even a soft pink. The snow sparkles in some places, like tiny stars have fallen to the ground. The world feels both enormous and close. The sky seems endless above you, but the snow feels like a warm blanket wrapped around the earth. The balance between them creates a peaceful space where your mind relaxes without trying. If you listen closely, you still hear nothing. But the silence is not empty. It is full of the soft presence of the lights, full of the quiet of a place untouched by noise, full of a calm that feels rare in the modern world. The Arctic night holds you gently, and the lights move slowly, as if they understand your pace. They do not rush you. They do not push you. They simply continue their quiet dance in a way that feels almost like a lullaby made of color instead of sound. Some people who visit the Arctic for the first time expect the lights to be loud or intense, but standing under them teaches you something different. They are thoughtful. They fill the sky with a calm you can feel in your chest. You discover that silence can be strong. Silence can be comforting. Silence can make beauty feel even more meaningful. You realize that you do not need anything else. No music, no talking, just the lights and the night. If you walk a few steps, the sound of your boots reminds you how soft the snow really is. But the noise fades almost instantly, swallowed by the deep quiet around you. It feels like the night does not want to disturb the lights. The Arctic respects the sky respects the snow. And you become part of that quiet balance. Your body relaxes because there is nothing here to hurry you or distract you. Everything encourages stillness. As the lights grow and spread, you feel something warm inside you, even in the cold air. You feel calm. You feel steady. You feel connected to the world in a simple way. The lights move like long ribbons pulled by an invisible hand. You follow their movement slowly. Your eyes stay wide, not from surprise, but from the gentle beauty that touches you. It is the kind of beauty that does not shout. It invites. It stays soft no matter how bright it becomes. In a place so quiet, the lights feel more alive. Their movement feels stronger. Their colors feel deeper. You begin to see how the Arctic night shapes the experience. Without noise, without distractions, the mind starts to quiet itself. Thoughts become softer. Breathing becomes slower. The rhythm of the lights becomes your rhythm. You are no longer watching the sky. You are part of the night. And for a moment, the world feels perfectly still, perfectly calm, and perfectly beautiful. When the northern lights move above the Arctic, people are not the only ones who notice. The animals living there experience the sky in their own way, and their senses make the lights feel even more magical. The Arctic is home to creatures that have learned to survive long cold seasons, deep snow, and long nights. These animals live quietly, close to the land, and they move under the glowing sky as if it is a natural part of their world. Watching them helps you see the lights from a different angle, one that feels calm, wild, and full of quiet wonder. Reindeer are one of the most interesting animals when it comes to the auroras. They see the world differently from humans. Their eyes can detect ultraviolet light, which we cannot see at all. This means that when the northern lights appear, reindeer may see details and patterns that are invisible to us. The sky might look brighter to them, with more shapes and lines. The snow also looks clearer to them, because snow reflects ultraviolet light strongly. So even during the darkest winter nights, reindeer can see paths, plants, and other animals with ease. To them, the Arctic is never completely dark. The lights above only make the world even more visible. Imagine a herd of reindeer moving slowly across the snowy ground. Their hooves make soft clicks as they walk. The auroras glow above them, and even though they do not stop to stare like humans do, the lights touch their world in a gentle way. The snow becomes brighter. Shadows soften. The cold air becomes easier to navigate. Reindeer move with a steady rhythm, and the sky glows quietly behind them. Their breath rises in small clouds as they search for food under the snow. The glowing sky does not distract them. It simply becomes part of the night they already understand. Polar bears live farther from the lights, but they still experience them from time to time. A polar bear walking across the ice under the auroras is a quiet sight. The bear moves slowly, placing each paw carefully on the snow. The sky above might glow green or purple, and the ice reflects a faint color on the bear's fur. Polar bears do not follow the lights or react to them in a strong way, but the changing colors can make the world around them feel softer. The ice looks less harsh. Even a powerful animal like a polar bear looks calmer under the lights. Arctic foxes, small and light on their feet, move like tiny ghosts in the snow. Their fur is white during winter, blending perfectly with the ground. When the northern lights appear, the fox almost looks like a moving piece of the sky that fell to the earth. The snow around it glows softly, and the fox's fur catches a hint of the color above. Foxes are always alert, listening for small movements under the snow. They tilt their heads, jump high, and press their paws into the snow to catch food. The auroras do not scare them. They bring a quiet beauty to the world they already know so well. Owls also fly under the lights. When it spreads its wings, the reflection of the lights makes the feathers look almost transparent. The owl flies silently, watching for movement on the ground. Its eyes are sharp and can see in low light. With the auroras glowing above, the night becomes even easier for the owl to navigate. It flies without hurry, it listens for tiny sounds, and the sky behind it looks like a curtain of soft colors. Wolves experience the lights from another perspective. They live in packs and move together across long distances. At night, they often travel under the glowing sky. Their howls rise into the air, and the auroras above them make the moment feel ancient and wild. Some people say the lights seem to move in response to the howls, but that is only a feeling, not a fact. Still, the way the lights stretch across the sky while wolves call out creates a connection that feels strong and calm at the same time. The wolves move through the snow, leaving long paths behind them, and the lights guide their journey with a gentle glow. Snow hares also share the night with the auroras. Their fur turns white in the winter, and they hop lightly across the snow, almost disappearing into it. When the lights shine, the snow around them brightens, making their tiny shapes easier to see. They move quickly when they sense danger, but when the world is still, they sit quietly on the snow, with the sky glowing above them. They seem almost like small shadows resting under a soft lamp. Even sea animals experience the lights in their own way. Seals resting on the ice sometimes look up and pause for a moment, their dark eyes catching the reflection of the sky. The water below them becomes darker when the lights appear, and the surface of the ice glows softly. Whales swimming near the surface may see the color of the lights through the water. In the deep silence of the Arctic Sea, the glow above can feel like a soft reminder of the world outside the cold water. When you think about all these animals together, you begin to understand something peaceful. The northern lights are not just a show for humans. They are part of a natural rhythm that animals experience without needing explanations. The lights do not surprise them. They do not confuse them. They are simply part of the night, just like snow, stars, and the cold air. The animals live in harmony with the lights, accepting them as another part of their world. This connection makes the lights feel even more special. You start to imagine how the Arctic looks through the eyes of each animal. A reindeer seeing ultraviolet patterns, an owl gliding under a glowing sky, a fox moving softly across green-tinted snow, a wolf pack traveling together with quiet steps. Every animal interacts with the lights differently, and this quiet harmony makes the Arctic feel alive in a slow, peaceful way. You might not see them, but you know they are there, each moving with purpose through the cold night. The sky glows above all of you, connecting everything in one calm scene. The lights do not belong to humans alone. They belong to the whole Arctic. They touch the land, the snow, the water, and the animals. And in this silent connection, the lights feel even more gentle and magical. When you imagine the animals living their lives under the auroras, the lights become more than beautiful colors in the sky. They become part of a living world that moves quietly through winter, a world where every creature knows how to survive, how to listen, and how to live in peace with the night. And when you think of the northern lights in this way, the sky begins to feel even deeper, even softer, even more calming. Above the Arctic night, most people know the northern lights as green, sometimes with hints of purple or pink. These colors are common and gentle, easy for our eyes to enjoy. But the auroras can also show colors that are rare, soft, and mysterious. Some lights glow red, some shine blue, and some are invisible to the human eye. This hidden side of the lights adds a sense of quiet wonder, a part of the sky that most people never see, but that still whispers its story across the polar heavens. Red auroras are one of the rarest sights. They appear higher in the atmosphere, where the air is thinner and the oxygen behaves differently. The red glow is soft, almost like a faint blush across the night sky. It is not bright like green, and often it is only visible when the aurora is very strong. Seeing red in the aurora can feel like catching a secret message from the sky. Scientists study it carefully because it tells them about how solar particles travel so far from the sun and still create light in Earth's thin upper air. The red color appears slowly, sometimes after hours of green and purple, as if the sky is saving something special for those who wait and watch patiently. The color comes from interactions between solar particles and nitrogen. It is a deep, calming shade, different from the sparkling green that people usually see. Blue auroras are harder to notice because they are faint and often mixed with other colors. But when they appear clearly, they feel cool and gentle, like the first breath of dawn before the sun rises. Their quiet presence makes the Arctic night even more magical, a reminder that the auroras are not only for immediate pleasure, but also for subtle, careful observation. Sometimes the auroras are invisible to human eyes. These are called invisible auroras, and cameras with special sensors can capture them. They occur when the light produced is outside the range our eyes can see, in ultraviolet or infrared. For humans standing under the sky, it seems as if the night is completely calm. But cameras can reveal shapes and waves moving silently, patterns of energy that are very real but hidden from sight. It is astonishing to think that while you feel nothing, the sky is alive with movement. These invisible auroras remind us that the world around us is larger and more complex than we can experience with just our senses. The Arctic night holds more beauty than we can see if we know how to look. Sometimes all these colors mix together in delicate ways. A faint red line may edge a bright green curtain, while a hint of blue flickers near the horizon. Invisible auroras might move behind them, shaping the colors without our knowledge. The sky does not perform for cameras or crowds. It moves according to its own rules, showing its rarest colors only to those who wait and watch. Standing under this sky, you start to understand that the aurora is not just a show, but a gentle teacher of patience, quiet, and attention to detail. Scientists use special instruments to study these rare colors. They measure how high the auroras reach, which gases are interacting, and how fast the solar wind is moving. Red auroras, for example, tell them about the upper layers of the atmosphere and how energy spreads after a solar storm. Blue auroras reveal how lower layers of air respond to incoming particles. Invisible auroras give information about magnetic fields and the smallest currents flowing above the poles. Each rare color becomes a clue, a small message that helps humans understand the sky's invisible mechanics. It is a silent conversation between the earth, the sun, and the human mind. Some of the rare auroras appear only during strong solar storms. These storms send fast-moving particles into the Earth's magnetic field. When the particles strike the upper atmosphere, the colors change in unusual ways. Green may dominate the sky first, but then red spreads like a soft blush. Blue flickers in the lower layers. Invisible auroras move behind, undetected. The whole process can take minutes or hours. For a viewer on the ground, it is a quiet unfolding of colors, subtle and layered, each moment slightly different from the last. It is almost like reading a book in slow motion, where each page reveals a secret about the sky. Cameras and time-lapse photography often reveal even more than the eye can catch. What looks like a simple green curtain can be full of hidden movement in red and blue. Invisible auroras swirl behind the visible ones, shaping the motion in ways that are invisible to humans but clearly recorded on sensors. The camera captures subtle ripples, faint waves, and delicate changes in brightness that humans would otherwise miss. Looking at these images, you start to imagine that the aurora is not one thing, but many things layered together. Some parts are calm and steady, others move quickly and unpredictably. The sky becomes a complex painting of energy, light, and motion. Thinking about the rare colors adds a sense of curiosity and gentle wonder. Most people never see red, blue, or invisible auroras in person, yet they exist, always moving above the Arctic. Even when the sky seems quiet, there is a secret performance taking place, showing that nature is patient, subtle, and full of surprises. The aurora is never fully revealed, always offering something more for eyes and minds willing to look. Rare auroras also appear in other places, not just the Arctic. Scientists have recorded flashes of red and blue at the edges of the auroral oval in Antarctica and even in Mars's thin atmosphere. These colors tell a story that is universal. The same processes that make Earth's auroras possible also happen on other planets. The rare colors show that auroras are not just a local show, but a global and even cosmic phenomenon. They connect Earth to the larger universe, hinting at energy, motion, and hidden beauty far beyond our planet. Watching rare auroras requires patience, quiet, and a gentle mind. You may not see them on your first night or even your 10th. but each time the sky changes, there is a chance for something new and hidden to appear. Red, blue, and invisible lights remind us that the auroras are alive, not in a loud or dramatic way, but in a soft, secret rhythm that stretches across the night. They are the subtle side of the aurora, a quiet treasure that makes the Arctic night feel more magical, mysterious, and full of gentle discovery. In these rare colors, you can feel the auroras talking quietly to the earth. The sky is sending messages through light that humans only sometimes catch. Even invisible auroras are part of this dialogue. The red and blue lights are reminders that the Arctic sky is always alive, full of energy, and full of secrets. To stand under it is to be part of something larger than yourself. Each rare color is a gentle note in a symphony of light, invisible, subtle, and beautiful. The aurora teaches you that patience, observation, and quiet attention can reveal worlds you never imagined. The northern lights, with their rare reds, deep blues, and invisible glows, are a calm mystery in the sky. They remind us that the world is layered, complex, and full of hidden wonder. Even when we cannot see everything, the auroras continue to move, play, and shine above us. They show that beauty exists beyond immediate vision, waiting to be discovered. And in this quiet understanding, you feel closer to the Arctic, to the universe, and to the secrets that the night gently holds. The northern lights are one of the most magical sights in the world, but not everyone gets to see them. To catch the auroras in their full beauty, you need to be in the right place at the right time. The Arctic Circle is one of those special places where the sky seems to belong entirely to the aurora. Here, the nights are long in winter, stretching for hours when the sun does not rise. These long, dark nights give the northern lights time to spread across the sky and show their colors in full. When you stand under the sky, the lights feel closer, as if they are floating just above your head, painting green, red, and purple across the heavens. Some towns and regions inside the Arctic Circle are better for seeing the aurora than others. Places far from city lights give the best view because the sky is dark and quiet. Even a small amount of light pollution can make the soft colors harder to see. Towns like Tromsø in Norway, Fairbanks in Alaska, and Rovaniemi in Finland are famous for aurora viewing. In these towns, the air is cold and clear, and the nights are long enough to allow the lights to appear repeatedly. Many travelers visit during winter hoping to catch multiple displays in one night. Each sighting is different. Some nights, the aurora is calm, forming a soft arc across the sky, while other nights it swirls wildly, filling the horizon with waves of color. The geography of the Arctic also plays a role. Mountains, fjords, and frozen lakes can create reflections that make the auroras feel even more alive. When the lights appear over a snowy landscape, their colors bounce off the ice and snow, creating a doubled effect that makes the sky feel more expansive. Observers often describe seeing green curtains mirrored in the frozen lakes below, making it seem as if the sky is repeating itself on the earth. Even gentle hills or open plains help viewers see the full arc of the lights without anything blocking the horizon. The world becomes a quiet theater where the aurora is the main performance, and you are sitting in the best seat in the house. Some regions have auroras more often than others because of how the Earth's magnetic field works. The auroral oval, a ring around the magnetic poles, is where the northern lights appear most frequently. Inside this oval, the chances of seeing auroras are much higher, and some nights they appear almost every hour. Places near the center of the oval, like parts of northern Norway and Sweden, often get spectacular displays, while towns at the edge of the circle might see only faint glows. Scientists have mapped this oval carefully, helping travelers plan their trips to maximize the chance of witnessing the lights. Even small differences in location can make the view much brighter, more colorful, and more active. The climate and weather also affect the experience. Clear skies are essential because clouds block the view completely. That is why areas with stable, cold and dry winter weather are preferred. In Alaska, for example, interior regions tend to have clearer nights than coastal areas, giving better visibility. In Scandinavia, the cold, crisp air above frozen lakes or snow-covered forests allows the aurora to shine clearly against the dark sky. Travelers often wake up in the middle of the night, wrap themselves in warm layers, and step outside to catch the lights as soon as they appear. The chill in the air makes the colors feel sharper, more vivid, and more alive. Many towns have embraced aurora tourism. Hotels, lodges, and cabins in northern Finland and Norway are built to give guests a view of the sky from inside their warm rooms. Some cabins have glass roofs, so people can watch the aurora from their beds. This way, the lights can be enjoyed in comfort, while the cold Arctic night continues outside. In Alaska, remote lodges offer similar experiences, with large windows or outdoor viewing areas designed to give travelers a full panorama of the sky. Sitting quietly in one of these places, you can see how the aurora moves across the horizon, changing shape and color as if it were alive. The Arctic Circle is not the only place to see the northern lights, but it is among the most reliable. Other regions just outside the circle can offer glimpses, especially during strong solar storms, but the aurora may be faint or brief. Traveling closer to the magnetic pole increases the chance of seeing brighter colors, larger arcs, and longer-lasting displays. For travelers who want to feel fully immersed, being inside the Arctic Circle gives the sense that the sky itself is awake, moving gently in response to invisible energies. Towns with small populations are often better for viewing because there is little artificial light. Northern Norway's Lofoten Islands are famous not only for dramatic landscapes, but also for clear, dark skies. In these remote areas, the aurora can dominate the sky, filling it with color from horizon to horizon. The lack of distraction allows you to focus fully on the movements and shapes of the lights. Every flicker and ripple becomes noticeable. The air feels colder, cleaner, and sharper, as if it is holding the aurora's energy in quiet anticipation. Some travelers choose to view the lights from boats or frozen lakes. When the aurora is reflected in the water, it creates a double image, stretching the experience across both sky and earth. In fjords, the mountains and water amplify the colors, making them appear richer and deeper. Even gentle snow can catch the glow and scatter it softly, turning the landscape into a calm, shimmering wonder. Every step outside becomes part of the experience, whether walking on ice, snow, or through a quiet forest. Aurora season is mostly winter, when nights are long and the skies are dark. From September to March, the Arctic regions offer the best chance to see the lights. In this time, travelers often plan multi-night trips to increase the chance of witnessing a display. Because the aurora is alive and changes from moment to moment, one night may give a soft curtain of green, while the next night might erupt into red, violet, and deep purple. Patience is rewarded with unique experiences that cannot be repeated exactly, even for those watching from the same place. Some towns also provide guides and local knowledge. In Finland, Norway, and Alaska, guides know where to go for clear skies, how to avoid light pollution, and how to spot the best angles for photography. They help travelers understand the subtle colors and movements that may go unnoticed without experience. They also share stories and legends, adding cultural depth to the night sky. Listening to the aurora while learning its history from locals enhances the sense of connection to both nature and human experience. The places where the northern lights appear create a feeling of stillness and wonder. The Arctic Circle, remote towns, frozen lakes, and mountains all combine to make the sky seem larger, darker, and more alive. When you are in these locations, the aurora is not just something to see, it is something to feel. It moves above you, touches the quiet earth, and invites you to pause, breathe, and notice the subtle beauty of the night. Travelers who are lucky enough to visit these places often describe a feeling of calm and awe that lasts long after the aurora disappears. Standing beneath the sky, you realize how small yet connected you are. The Arctic night teaches patience, quiet, and attentiveness. Watching the northern lights from these special places becomes a memory that stays, a reminder of the gentle magic the earth can show when we make time to notice. In the end, the best places to see the northern lights are not only about geography, latitude, or weather. They are about quiet, space, and presence. Where the earth is still, where the sky is dark, and where the aurora can stretch without interruption, that is where the magic happens. Each flicker of green, red, or violet is amplified by the calm surroundings, the reflective ice, and the crisp Arctic air. These places show the aurora as it is meant to be seen, alive, moving, and full of quiet beauty. Whether you are in a remote cabin in Finland, a quiet town in Norway, or on a frozen lake in Alaska, the northern lights teach the same lesson. They are part of a world that moves gently and quietly, full of energy and wonder. These special places give you the chance to be present, to watch, and to feel the sky glow with life above you. In the silence of the Arctic night, you can let your eyes follow the colors, your mind imagine the invisible currents, and your heart connect to the gentle magic of the northern lights. The night has grown quiet, and the northern lights begin to slow their dance. After hours of swaying, twisting, and stretching across the sky, the colors soften. Green curtains fade into pale mint, red glows settle into gentle pink, and violet whispers turn almost invisible. The movement is no longer wild or playful, but calm, as if the sky itself is sighing in relief. Each wave of light stretches one last time, then relaxes, leaving a smoother, gentler sweep of color across the horizon. Watching it slowly fade gives a feeling of peace, a soft closure to the night's spectacle. The cold Arctic air is still, and the snow beneath reflects the gentle glow of the disappearing lights. Even the tiniest flicker of color seems to hold more meaning now, like a whisper after a song has ended. Your breathing matches the rhythm of the sky, calm and steady, as if your body has learned the aurora's gentle pulse. The energy that once raced through the upper atmosphere now flows quietly, hidden but still present. This moment reminds you that everything has a rhythm, that beginnings and endings are part of the same story. The northern lights teach patience and reflection, showing that beauty does not always need movement or noise to be felt. Above, The sky becomes darker and stars slowly reappear, twinkling softly as if to say good night. The aurora lingers faintly at the edges of vision, like a memory of excitement and color, blending with the cosmos in a serene embrace. Watching the lights fade teaches the mind to slow down, to notice subtle changes, and to feel the gentle passing of time. There is no rush here, no need to chase the spectacle. The sky itself is enough, and the fading colors carry a message of rest and ease. Even in their quiet state, the auroras still hold secrets. Tiny flashes of light may appear and disappear quickly, too faint for human eyes to catch without patience. Cameras can record these moments, capturing details that remain invisible but present. These quiet auroras remind you that not all beauty announces itself loudly. Sometimes the most profound experiences are the ones that come gently, without effort, and fade softly. The mind begins to follow this pattern, releasing tension, letting thoughts slow, and opening a space for calm awareness. The air feels heavier with quiet, yet lighter in spirit. Each shimmer of color, now pale and subtle, seems to connect earth and sky in a peaceful conversation. You may imagine the particles from the sun still traveling, still touching the magnetic shield of the planet, but their impact is soft and gentle. No sudden flares, no dramatic bursts. Just a smooth and quiet continuation of the cycle that has played through the night. The lights have performed, shared their story, and now give the sky a chance to rest, inviting you to do the same. The snow-covered landscape reflects the calm like a mirror. Every hill, tree, and frozen lake holds the faint glow of the aurora. Shadows become gentle shapes instead of stark contrasts. The earth itself seems to breathe slowly, in time with the sky. Your senses take it all in without effort, and a deep feeling of relaxation grows within. The quiet of the Arctic night surrounds you, filling every corner of thought with softness. You can feel your muscles releasing tension, your heart slowing, and your mind unwinding. As the auroras fade, the magical connection between you, the earth, and the sun remains. The tiny particles that created hours of light are still moving, still part of a network that spans millions of miles. Thinking of this can feel humbling and comforting. You are a witness to something far larger than yourself, and the calm reminds you that you are part of a rhythm bigger than the busy world below. The northern lights have become a teacher once again, this time showing that endings can be as beautiful as beginnings, that peace is just as meaningful as excitement, and that calm can be just as captivating as color. Your eyes may grow heavy as you continue to watch the gentle fading. Colors become almost invisible, the sky a deep indigo, and the stars shine more brightly. The aurora is no longer a spectacle, but a soft presence, a memory painted across the sky. The mind, having followed the light's movement all night, now begins to relax completely. Thoughts no longer need to chase patterns or imagine the bright colors. They settle into quiet reflection. The fading aurora carries a soothing rhythm that your body and mind naturally follow. The world beneath the sky feels still. Footsteps in snow are muffled, the wind is calm, and even the animals are quiet. Reindeer lie resting, foxes curl in their dens, and birds are hidden until dawn. Everything is slowed to match the pace of the sky. You feel included in this calm, as if the universe has extended a hand of gentle guidance. The auroras, though almost gone, leave a trace of their magic in the quiet, reminding you that beauty often lasts in the memory and in the feeling, not just in sight. The glow that remains is soft, almost imperceptible, and your imagination can fill in the rest. You might picture the green curtains lingering over distant mountains, or a faint red arc over a frozen lake. Even if the eyes cannot see every detail, the mind can sense the gentle energy still moving above. It is a peaceful reminder that even when things seem to disappear, the connection remains. You are part of this sky, part of this night, and part of a universe that moves in cycles of energy, color, and calm. As the final colors vanish, the sense of closure is complete. The sky is still, deep, and quiet. Only the stars remain, twinkling softly, and the snow reflects the faint light from the heavens. You feel a gentle warmth, not from the sun, but from the quiet understanding of your place in the universe. The lights have shared their story, and now they allow silence to settle. Lying under the Arctic night, your thoughts are soft and slow. Breathing becomes steady, and the body feels light. The fading auroras carry the last notes of their song, invisible yet present. You can feel a sense of connection to the particles, the sun, the earth, and the stars. Even in their absence, the northern lights leave a feeling of calm that lingers in your chest and mind. Every shimmer you saw earlier now lives in memory, and that memory carries tranquility. The gentle night encourages rest. You may imagine the sky stretching wide, the soft air wrapping around you, and the faint glow of energy from the sun moving through space, touching Earth and whispering across the magnetic field. The auroras, though almost gone, have left their imprint, showing that energy, motion, and beauty can all calm the mind. There is no rush, no urgency, only a smooth fading of light and a growing quiet in the heart. You feel weightless, almost floating, connected to the immense sky and the soft earth beneath. The northern lights have shared their colors, movements, and magic. Now, as they dissolve into darkness, they teach the quiet power of endings. The calm that spreads through the sky mirrors the calm that spreads through you. Slowly, fully, you feel yourself moving toward sleep, carried by the memory of green curtains, soft reds, and pale violets. And as the last glow fades completely, the mind is ready. The body is ready. The night, calm and serene, holds you gently. You are part of a vast and beautiful universe, resting beneath the stars. The northern lights have said good night, leaving only quiet and a soft, steady feeling of peace. Your breathing slows, thoughts fade, and sleep begins, carried by the soft memory of the lights above.